Last summer, I went on a trip to Ireland with my family, and we had a great time. We went to Killarney and Dublin and looked at all of the different landmarks surrounding the city. I even got to see all of the statues that covered Dublin City Square. And one specifically piqued my interest: Molly Malone. She's located on Suffolk Street near St. John's Church in the middle of Dublin. I was shocked by the amount of people running up to her and rubbing her breasts. As an American, I wondered, is this normal? And if so, why? So, I made it my goal to figure out. The story behind Molly Malone is often disagreed upon. Many believe that she's just a myth based on Irish culture, but some Dublin locals are convinced Molly Malone was based on an actual woman named Mary Malone. Although I couldn't find much proof to show that Mary was a real person, because Molly's fictional story overlaps. So I'm gonna tell the tale of Molly/Mary, and you can decide what you believe. Molly Malone, also known as the Tart of the Cart, was a fishmonger selling goods all around Dublin. Her calls of "Alive, alive, oh" were heard throughout the streets, proclaiming the freshness of her fish to customers. Wow, that's a tongue twister. She was also thought to be a devout Christian, being baptized and buried at St. John's Church. Although, as Sean Murphy pointed out, a former genealogy and history lecturer at the University of College Dublin, there have been many different Molly and Mary Malones buried at the St. John's Protestant Church, as well as many other Roman Catholic churches throughout Dublin. So it's difficult to know if and where she'd be buried, regardless of her affiliation with St. John's Church. Sean also has many works on Molly and seems pretty passionate about her history. I also realized how divided people can get on her. Molly also had another job. In need for money, she did sex work at night, becoming popular with the students at Trinity College. Because of this, Molly did not have the greatest reputation among the townspeople, explaining her nickname.
What does it mean to call a woman a tart? Yeah, that's about right.
Sadly, her life was cut short around the age of 35 from typhoid fever in 1699. But this still doesn't explain why she is now a statue, beloved by locals and tourists alike. It actually lended the opposite. But one man by the name of James Yorkston created a song so popular that a statue had to be erected in his honor over 100 years later. Yeah. Well, better late than never. The song, titled Sweet Molly Malone, published in 1884, follows the life of Molly, describing her job as a fishmonger and how she died. The song even alludes that Molly haunts the streets around Dublin after her death. It quickly became well known and is even considered the unofficial anthem of Dublin. The lyrics read, "In Dublin's fair city, where the girls are so pretty, I first set my eyes on sweet Molly Malone, as she wheeled her wheelbarrow through streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh." I can't lie, it's quite catchy, and I can see why it caught on. As time passed and Dublin's millennium came closer and closer, the city commissioned an artist named Jean Reinhardt, a frequent sculptor in Dublin, and there and then, Molly was born. But how exactly did the tradition of touching Molly's boobs become a thing? And why is it still ongoing? The Malone sculpture has been in Dublin since 1988, and I've wondered if this tradition has been alive since then. Many speculate that around the late 2000s, a tour guide spread the word that rubbing Molly's breasts gave you good luck, and it has since become a commonly done practice. Tourists and residents participate in this tradition, and it doesn't seem to have changed either. There are some more upbeat activities around Molly, though. There are plenty of themed and titled pubs after Molly in Ireland, and even around the world. There's actually one in LA. There's even a Molly Malone Day that happens annually. Every June 13th, parades, Irish cuisine, and live music fill Dublin. And to be honest, I want to go. I really want to go. That sounds amazing. But I can't ignore the elephant in the room. So, is this a problem? Potentially. As activism becomes more and more common, and movements like Me Too evolve, there's much more discussion over the portrayal and treatment of women in every aspect. One argument is that the normalcy of this objectification, especially in front of young children, can teach our youth that it's okay to treat people like this. It's not always so easy to discern real from fake when you're a kid. The regularity of it allows such treatment to become standard. It can set an example for young children, like my siblings, to think, yeah, this is fine, for the perpetrator and the victim. Dublin-born singer Imelda May actually had a take on this. She highlighted the issue on Sunday World newspaper and pointed out that the only statue in Dublin with breasts is basically assaulted in front of our children's eyes daily. It's also evident that there are plenty of male statues covering Dublin, each including a historical story of greatness. Statues like Jim Larkin, Phil Lynott, and James Joyce are just a few examples of how men are portrayed in the city. Speaking of James Joyce, he is also responsible for a well-known statue of a woman in Dublin. The fiction of Anna Livia is meant to represent femininity, life, and time. She's in Crappie's Memorial Park, and although she is well loved, like Molly, Anna is more commonly known as the floozy in the jacuzzi. Both of these women's nicknames owe to the fact that they're provocative and too revealing, even if these women were fake. As shared in a BBC article, some local campaigners are deeply uncomfortable by the sexualization of these women, especially when there are so few female statues. One campaigner found it very violating that strangers behaved in such a way. This resulted in them attempting to get the city council to put a stop to it, with limited luck. Unfortunately, it's not like this stuff just happens in Dublin, or even just to female statues. A statue in Paris, France, named Victor Noir, is a symbol of fertility and sex. Lots of people, including women, are seen kissing, groping, and even sitting on him. And I didn't tell you the fact that he's a gravestone. He is in a grave. This is a dead man that people are humping. That doesn't make sense to me. And do you want to know why? Once again, it's for good luck. I think this is a sad yet fitting example of how the normalization of statues like Molly Malone in Dublin not only allow acts like this to spread, but make it just that much easier for this to happen for real people. As of 2025, Women's Aid reports that 1 in 4 women report experiencing abuse from their partner. And that's just in Ireland. I want to point out that men often have a harder time reporting domestic abuse because of the stigmas surrounding it. So just because that fact only describes how women experience it doesn't mean that it doesn't happen to men too. The reality that things like this are posted online and laughed about calls to the fact that Gen Z culture seems to be surrounded around this, at least from my point of view. Mob mentality can take place much faster from the rapid intake of media as the internet becomes more advanced. I bring this up only to emphasize how this is happening in real time. Comparatively, Barry Reinhardt, Molly's sculptor's son, stated that the family does not care about people touching Molly, and some argue it's a part of Irish humor. Although I wouldn't say that this type of humor can be bypassed by any means. Even more in this instance, I am not Irish, and therefore cannot wholeheartedly know the full effects that this does or doesn't have on Irish citizens. I just thought that I'd give my 2 cents, maybe even 3. Overall, after all of my research on Molly, I learned that she has an expansive story, much more than I thought. Originally, when I first saw tourists touching her, I was disgusted and didn't think that there could be any reasoning behind it. Whether or not I still believe that, I've learned that Molly is a complex woman, fictional or real, friend or foe. She was a hard worker, and it makes sense why the city of Dublin fell in love in the first place. She's just like everyone else, and I think she's always wanted to be seen that way. She really has taught me a lesson or two about authenticity, and I'm really glad I got to see her in person. With that, I wanted to thank you for listening. If you've made it this far and you've enjoyed what you've heard, feel free to leave a like. I'm really excited to make more videos in the future, and I hope you come on that journey with me, whoever you are. Don't hesitate to hit the subscribe button, as it shows support for my channel. I'm still quite new at this YouTube thing, and any support means a lot. I literally have my computer sitting on a stool that's sitting on a stool, so I'm still learning. Well, bye now. Okay. Aim. No. I'm attempting. She was a hard woman. How many times am I going to do this intro?